Hi, today I'm going to start a two-part guide on the top 10 data brokers. In the first part, we'll focus on the top 5 data brokers, and they are Axiom, LexisNexis, Oracle America, Equifax, and Aristotle. You may not have heard of any of these data brokers, and that's because they work very hard to stay out of the spotlight. It's very challenging to find people willing to talk about them openly because these companies make them sign very strict confidentiality agreements. But we will do our very best to share the information we found during our research. While it may not cover everything, it will give you a very good idea as to why you should consider opting out of their services. Axiom is a data broker giant originally founded as Demographics Incorporated by Charles D. Ward in 1969. Its initial goal was to establish a mailing list that could be used for campaign efforts. Back then, Axiom processed consumer data for a few clients, including IC Corporation, which was a bus manufacturing company in Conway, Arkansas. By 1998, Axiom had begun marketing to corporate clients who needed help with managing their databases and acquired a data broker company called May and Speck Incorporated. And by 2012, Axiom had already had a massive database of information for nearly 200 million Americans and over 120 million US households. And 47 of the Fortune 100 companies were its customers. Today, Axiom is one of the oldest, largest, and most prominent data brokers. They gather information from public records, surveys, and online tracking. They specialize in using this data for consulting and marketing, helping companies boost sales, and also to attract and keep loyal customers. They do this by using consumer data and their artificial intelligence, which they say was built on a powerful data and identity foundation. Some big names that partner with Axiom include Spotify, Yahoo, Hulu, Meta, and Google Cloud. With Axiom's data, these companies can find out if you are into yoga, a homeowner, what your net worth is, the subscriptions you have, what causes you support, your age, and even your relationship status. This allows companies to send you targeted advertisements or to create products based on your identity. It's almost like they know you as well or even better than your closest friends. LexisNexis was launched in 1997 as the first web-based service that provided legal and regulatory information and online access to case law, which helped legal professionals. In the 2000s, LexisNexis launched a business unit which we now know as LexisNexis Risk Solutions. This uses consumer data to develop solutions for verifying identities, supporting law enforcement and security initiatives, as well as predicting and managing risks. Today, LexisNexis has over 11,000 employees and has customers in over 180 countries. Some of the data LexisNexis collects include email addresses, gender, employment history, geolocation data, and online behavior. LexisNexis typically offers data to financial services and insurance companies, helping these companies evaluate credit risks, generate more revenue, and improve their operations. Oracle started in the 1970s when engineers Larry Ellison, Bob Miner, and Ed Oates founded a company called Software Development Laboratories, or SDL. It was just a Silicon Valley startup back then, but in 1982, SDL had changed its name to become Oracle Corporation. And 5 years later, Oracle became the largest database management company, raking in over $100 million in sales. By 2007, Oracle had grown even more, serving customers in over 140 different countries. A year later, Marvel Entertainment teamed up with Oracle to mine data. And in 2018, Oracle launched its first autonomous database, which could patch, tune, and manage itself. This raised concerns about data safety because it relies heavily on automation with minimal human oversight, which makes it harder to identify and fix vulnerabilities. Today, Oracle is one of the biggest data brokers, and you may not know this. He has acquired several other data companies like Datalogix, Crosswire, and BlueKai. Some Oracle partners include Microsoft, Marriott International, Wendy's, MGM Resort, and Subaru. Equifax was founded in 1899 by brothers Guy and Cato Woolford as a retail credit card company that offered credit card investigations and recorded the payment habits of consumers. Now, Equifax is known for its credit monitoring services and is one of the largest data brokers. In fact, Equifax holds data on over 400 million credit card holders. They use this consumer data for marketing and for workforce management, like screening job applicants. Aristotle is a little different from other data brokers we've already talked about. It's a data broker company based in Washington, D.C. that collects not just consumer data, but also voter information. It has a national voter file which contains data on over 200 million registered voters and a national consumer file with data on nearly 300 million consumers. Aristotle even has the tagline, "The clear winner in political data." Over the years, Aristotle has become a full-service company. Aside from political campaigns, they now offer products and services for businesses, financial services, and grassroots organizations, which are groups essentially pushing for changes on various levels of the government. While there is no clear information on how exactly Aristotle collects data on voters, it's evident that it does and sells this data to prominent politicians. In the past, Aristotle has provided data to the likes of George Bush and John McCain, allowing them to know voters' ages, races, income, and whether or not they have children. Acxiom has faced numerous data privacy issues over the years, including privacy lawsuits and issues regarding data inaccuracy. For example, in the 2012 case of Henderson versus Acxiom, it was argued that Acxiom ran employment background checks without informing and notifying consumers, which was a violation of the Fair Credit Reporting Act. Another issue was that Acxiom was sharing consumer reports without following strict procedures to make sure that the information was accurate. Because of these inaccuracies, some people didn't get hired. This class action lawsuit lasted for 3 years. It only ended when Acxiom agreed to pay a settlement of over $20 million, which was shared among the affected consumers in the class action lawsuit. Also in 2013, Acxiom allowed the public to view the data it had on them. During that time, some consumers found inaccurate or outdated information on Acxiom's website. For example, Sharon Priest found that Acxiom had listed her as looking to rent or buy a new car, which she said wasn't true. LexisNexis was sued for failing to ensure the accuracy of the information it provided for background checks, which then affected the individual's chances of getting hired. If you've watched our GM lawsuit video, you know that LexisNexis had to pay compensatory damages for this. In 2022, LexisNexis faced another lawsuit for collecting and selling extensive personal data without consent, which violated Illinois privacy laws. The complaint argued that LexisNexis collected non-public data like cell phone records and law enforcement records such as correctional bookings, license plate reader data, and vehicle collision records.
Should we be concerned here?
Additionally, LexisNexis was accused of sharing this information with agencies like the Immigration and Customs Enforcement, allowing them to obtain information without subpoenas, warrant, or court orders. LexisNexis is also involved in a class action lawsuit over selling car data to insurance companies, which caused unreasonable spikes in insurance rates. We made a video about this. For Oracle, it was criticized for how it handles data privacy. In 2022, a privacy class action lawsuit claimed Oracle, a worldwide surveillance machine, collected detailed information on 5 billion people using cookies, tracking pixels, and other methods. This data included addresses, political views, and online activity, which Oracle then sold to third parties. Although a federal judge dismissed some of those claims, the main accusations about Oracle's data collection and selling practices are still ongoing in the U.S. District Court of the Northern District of California. Oracle has also faced class action lawsuits in the UK and the Netherlands over cookie tracking consent and breaking strict EU data collection laws like the GDPR. However, though, the UK case was suddenly dropped for an undisclosed reason, and the Netherlands lawsuit was declared inadmissible because the plaintiffs didn't represent enough people. Equifax is infamous for the 2017 data breach that exposed the personal information of over 140 million people. Hackers took advantage of a vulnerability in the Apache Struts web application framework that Equifax failed to patch and secure. This gave hackers access to the consumer data such as their home addresses, phone numbers, social security numbers, driver's licenses, and credit card numbers of over 200,000 people. Equifax was widely criticized for its poor security practices and how it mishandled the response to this breach. The CEO at the time, Richard Smith, and other top executives resigned afterwards. Equifax also faced dozens of lawsuits and government investigations.
Well, well, well. How the turntables.
To settle these lawsuits, Equifax agreed to a global settlement of $425 million to help those affected by the breach. The settlement also included a free credit monitoring, identity restoration services, and cash payments. While there is no significant breaches and privacy lawsuits with Aristotle, the major concerns with this data broker is the fact that it can share consumer data with politicians. This means that you can be targeted with political advertisement, and politicians can know more about you without you knowing it. To opt out of Axiom, you just have to visit www.axiom.com/opt-out. Scroll down, there you'll see a form to fill out and submit. You can also submit an opt-out request by calling Axiom and following the prompts. For LexisNexis, you can request an information suppression to prevent your information from being made publicly available through its products. According to the company, government officials, law enforcement officers, and private individuals who are victims of identity theft or at risk of physical harm can request an information suppression. If you're a victim of identity theft, you should submit a police report along with any documentation of the theft, such as letters from your credit card company and an identity theft affidavit. If you are at risk of physical harm, you should submit a copy of court protective order, a police report, and any documentation like the letter from your healthcare provider. You can send these documents via email or through their online form. For Oracle, you can opt out of the cookies by visiting their website and clicking on the opt-out link. To stop Oracle from using and sharing your personal data, fill out their online opt-out form. You will need to provide your first name and last name, email address, phone number, address, city, state, and zip code. For Equifax, you also need to fill out an online form to delete your personal data. You have to provide your full name, date of birth, social security number, or individual tax identification number, email address, phone number, and address details. Once you've submitted the form, Equifax will verify your request and you should receive an email notification. Aristotle also offers an online form for opting out. Simply fill it out and click I accept and continue. Aristotle will then verify your identity to proceed with the opt-out, and they may require additional information from you. And that's everything. Links to the opt-out forms will be in the description below. And if this video was helpful to you, please like it and of course share it with your friends. See you on the second part of the video. Thank you.